You say I used to do this, you probably are right, but look what God has done. Look at the transformation. Look how He has changed my life and turned me around. When they question your authority as a Christian, when they hold up your past, hold up your present to them in the name of Jesus. You are not taking to that, brothers. But there is a temptation when you are being tested as a child of God to respond by laying out your personal achievements. It's the temptation that we all face. To lay out your special abilities and gifts. To lay out your ministries and the things that you have done in the church. There is a temptation to boast and to glorify. And especially in today's world, a very pluralistic and materialistic world, people seek to validate whether or not they are true Christians by what they so-called call the blessings of God. And so if you follow the Americanization of the gospel, successful Christians are now being linked to rich and prosperous Christians. And we have nothing against rich and prosperous Christians. We love them. As a matter of fact, I want to be one of them. But the truth is, we have some poor and humble, genuine Christians of God too. The fact that you are doing well is not necessarily a sign of spiritual growth and maturity. So that the apostle, like the others, were tempted to hold up their personal achievements and to say that is what qualified them to become an apostle. Today we have begun to fall down and worship at the altar of the prosperity gospel. Begin to fall down and worship at the altar of the prosperity gospel. And we have to be careful how far we push back. One's spirituality is not based on one's personal achievements, whether in the church or outside the church. The temptation to do this is clear and present in all of us. It was for Paul, and it is for us. And Paul is saying that God's remedy, God's way of preventing him from boasting in his personal achievement was to give him a thorn in the flesh. What was Paul's thorn in the flesh? The Greek word there, it means stake. I know that as Jamaicans, we are tempted to think, and in some cases you are right, that thorn is a marker. I don't know what